focus. Ideate, innovate, enable.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of The Brands That Build India. I'm Shireen Bhan. Today we focus on a brand that's known for its ayurvedic or traditional Indian OTC medicinal products. The brand that you turn to when you have a bit of indigestion or just require an extra immunity booster. I'm talking of Dabur.
My mother used to force me.
बच्चे लाइक करते हैं विंटर में
और उससे इम्यूनिटी पावर बहुत डेवलप होती है.
Yes,
we do use that. Yes,
in childhood.
Yes.
हाँ जी, डाबर च्यवनप्राश मैं रात को दूध के साथ लेता था बिकॉज मैं रेसलिंग करता था, तो मुझे उससे काफी फर्क पड़ा था.
हाँ, डाबर वाटिका.
I've been using it for many years.
स्टिकी नहीं है ना, मतलब अच्छा है. मेरे को भी अच्छा लगता है, मेरे बच्चों को भी अच्छा लगता है.
Yeah, Dabur Hajmola, of course, everyone uses Dabur Hajmola.
कभी पेट में दर्द होना या कोई ज्यादा फूड खा लेना तो वो काफी हेल्पफुल है.
डेफिनेटली तब तो डाबर की टैबलेट्स का याद आता है.
या पुदीनहरा वो तो बहुत ज्यादा करती हूँ. अभी मैं लेके जा रही हूँ, कम से कम 6 बॉटल लेके जा रही हूँ.
One of my favorite Dabur product, I always keep that handy with me.
All people who had junk foods always use Pudinhara.
While Chywanprash, Hajmola, Lal Dant Manchan and Amla Kesh Thel are products well associated with the Dabur name, not many know that real juices, fem facial products and mosquito repellent Odomos are also part of the Dabur umbrella. The company has grown to become an FMCG giant through acquisitions and aggressive organic growth, particularly overseas. Let's take a look at how Dabur started as a one-man mission in 1884. In 1884, access to affordable medicine was hard to come by. And so a physician from Bengal, Dr. S.K. Burman, tried to mass-produce Ayurvedic medicines for those suffering from cholera, malaria and plague. This was the beginning of Dabur.
As his name was Dr. S.K. Burman, so Dr. Burman became Dabur as such, and that's how the brand name came about. He started, then after that his sons and carried it on, and we saw all these different products which were actually medicines, be it Chywanprash or KB tablets at that point of time, or Pudinhara, and we saw that the other generations saw that if you were to brand it, put it in the over the counter, these are things which can be sold without any prescriptions. So KB tablets became Hajmola because that was the brand we chose. Chywanprash became under the Dabur Chywanprash name.
The first manufacturing plant was set up as early as 1896. As the family expanded the business, Dabur was established as a company in 1936 and it shifted base to Delhi in the 70s. Ayurveda and medicinal formulations remained the focus, with the company even getting into cancer treatment medicines. For almost a century, Dabur remained a family-run enterprise, though the company had got substantially bigger. In the late 90s, the family hired McKinsey to see how they could move to the next level. McKinsey suggested leaving the running of the company to professional managers. Sunil Dugal, who had joined the company in 1994, was elevated to CEO in 2002.
I personally considered categories like tooth powders and even hair oils to be, in a sense, either very mature categories or categories which actually will start declining over a period of time, because they were very traditional consumption habits, and I said as and when India modernizes and the population becomes younger, people stop going to use tooth powders because nobody in the world uses tooth powders. They're going to start using toothpastes. That's when we began to diversify beyond these two core pillars of our portfolio, the red tooth powder and the Amla hair oil. We built brand Vatika, which is today our largest brand by far.
And so the expansion of the portfolio began. In 2005, Dabur acquired Balsara for 143 crore rupees for toothpaste brands Promise, Babool and Miswak, and also got brands Odomos and Odonil. After that acquisition, the next was in the skincare business with the acquisition of Fem. Meanwhile, the organic growth came through building brands like Real and Active.
Real is the youngest brand in the Dabur portfolio. It's now almost 13% of the total portfolio. In terms of how it contributes, I think in the last 5-6 years, from Dabur being seen of a very rural-oriented brand, it has made Dabur seen as a more urban-oriented brand. And I think Vatika has contributed a lot to it also. So Real has more urban customers. Now Dabur has become as a more happening kind of brand, and that's what we want it to be, that people more and more identify it as a fast-moving consumer product brand rather than just in Ayurvedic medicines. And that's the image changeover which we are looking at. But herbal being in the background of all this happening.
Fem is our entry into skincare. And again, the delivery is on the health platform. It may not be natural, but it does deliver healthy skin. So I think there is a connect between our core identity of Dabur and what Fem stands for.
The real growth of Dabur, though, has been overseas.
Get Dabur herbal toothpaste.
At first, it started with a simple idea: to cater to the large NRI population in the Middle East.
سنة 430 للهجرة أرض الجزيرة العربية.
Soon the company realized that it was being used by a large local Arab population who valued the natural herbal qualities Dabur promised.
So we had local ingredients like black seed or cactus, etc., to make up the Vatika franchise. So it still remains Vatika hair oil, that hair oil which has got herbal additives, but it has a very different form and shape as to what sells in India. Now, the moment we decided we will go down that path, then we said it is essential now to localize the supply chain. We cannot have products which are unique for those markets to be produced in India and shipped out of India, because the supply chain will not be able to support it. So that's when we set up this large plant in Jebel Ali, which is now an even larger plant operating out of Ras Al Khaimah in the northern part of the UAE.
Hey, ये किसका है?
Mine. Dabur is an aggressive advertiser like all FMCG brands.
छुपाई ना छुपे खूबसूरत बाल. Dabur आमला की खास देखभाल. असली आमला, नया Dabur आमला.
It spends the majority of its A&M budget on TV, trying to reach out to large masses. With a wide range of products, it straddles between building the Dabur brand and the product name.
Dabur Red Paste.
अब no दांतों की problem, no दांत, okay?
We see which are the areas where Dabur can easily get into as a brand, what is the core value of Dabur, and what connects with today's consumer and today's consumer needs. So, and where it doesn't, it lends itself as a corporate brand support. When we launched Vatika as a brand way back in 1995, it was Dabur Vatika, where Dabur played about a 40% weightage in the entire brand and Vatika played 60% weightage. But over years, we have seen Vatika standing on its own feet. It is a new brand which we have created. It is a future wealth creation for the company. So now Vatika plays a bigger role and Dabur has gone down to a smaller role.
गगन गुंजा नदी बहा पवन चला विजय तेरी हो जय तेरी ज्योत सी जला जला बुझा बुझा भड़क भड़क रक्त में धड़क धड़क
धनुष उठा प्रहार कर तू सबसे पहले वार कर रुके न तू थके न तू सदा चले झुके न तू रुके न तू झुके न तू Dabur Chywanprash. So when he narrated this, I remember, and very simple shot, it was hair-raising. It's the essence of the brand. Sometimes you hit the essence of the brand and you get it alive. And one of those moments, I think, when I wrote this for Dabur.
Besides TV, a large part of spends go towards below-the-line and rural activations. Dabur's advertising, while effective, has never really been standout. However, this campaign launched early this year has created quite a buzz on social media. Talking about cancer survivors, the product mention is very minimal.
The way it's been done and what we have talked about, this subject is not talked about in advertising. B, a hair category showing a bald woman talking about this subject, it's never done before. So that and it's very, as I said, it's such a true things what you have shown. You've shown a beautiful story in a beautiful way, and how brand has actually endorsed that and representing that. People have really liked it, and since it's done the way it is done, it's so true. There is nothing called advertising per se in it.
Today, Dabur is India's fourth largest FMCG company and one with a very diversified portfolio. As the company delves more into the health and wellness space, it could see some of its brands being phased out. Well, there's an interesting story that's often told in corporate India about how in the late 90s, the family promoters of Dabur, then a 40 crore rupee company, paid McKinsey 10 crore rupees only to be told that they need to exit the company. While neither the promoters nor shareholders are complaining now because the company has touched a market capitalization of close to $6 billion. It's time now for a short break, but on the other side, we speak with brand expert Santosh Desai for his views on Dabur.
Their advertising is pretty much industry standard, which is not saying much. And Dabur has done safe but solid work.
Santosh, thanks very much for joining us. We're discussing a 130-year-old brand with a 130-year-old legacy. What do you make of Dabur's advertising and communication strategy?
You know, their advertising is pretty much industry standard, which is not saying much because this is one part of the advertising space which tends to play safe. And Dabur has done safe but solid work.
The emphasis has been on promoting the front-facing brands, but it's been, let's promote Odomos or let's promote Hajmola. Do you think that that's actually been an advantage that people don't associate all of these products with the house of Dabur, or do you think that they should have done more to promote the mother brand as well?
If you were to look at Dabur as a brand, standalone it hasn't been promoted. But actually an astonishingly large number of their brands are actually carried by the Dabur name.
That's true. Dabur,
so Chywanprash, Dabur Chywanprash.
But maybe the new products they're trying to veer away from that, especially as far as the new foray, for instance, into the juice business is concerned, where it isn't that obvious, the connection.
Yes, which is what I guess a classic FMCG approach very often is, to build strong standalone individual brands.
So what is it that you would like to see? Now you said that, you know, it's been safe, solid advertising and communication. What is it that you would like to see from Dabur as it sort of evolves, becomes an even more diversified player?
I think you know brand creation for them and focusing on some brands, because that gives them extension opportunities tomorrow. I think one is to create assets. I think they could create stronger assets. If you were to look at the Dabur portfolio brands, they have some strong, really strong brands. But as iconic brands go, you know, if you were to look at some of the iconic brands of the country, for a 130-year-old company, you would find that there aren't that many iconic brands.
What was your favorite moment, since you have worked on the account? What was your favorite moment of having worked on Dabur?
I think, you know, in McCann we did some work for Dabur Chywanprash. There was a film which was Amitabh Bachchan sort of actually reciting a poem, which I thought brought alive the spirit of Chywanprash. It wasn't used very much, and you know, and to that extent more functional sort of advertising formats were used. But to me, I thought that was one of those brand defining kind of commercials. I thought that was a high point.
Well, Santosh, that's your high point from the House of Dabur. But on that note, let's listen in to what viewers have to say about an ad from the House of Dabur that's creating waves on social media.
Watching television, and there was this ad, and I said, what is this ad about? You know, that was about, you know, Vatika hair oil fighting cancer and or something. That was quite interesting ad, you know. Yeah.
I have given my at least like 5 minutes to see that ad repeatedly, because it's such a beautiful and confident and such a like awesome ad, first time in Indian television.
That's a beautiful ad. It is a good move towards that change in that society, their mindset.
But Santosh, you know, speaking about making a connect with the consumer and staying relevant in today's time, the new Brave and Bold campaign that Vatika has launched, what do you make of that?
I think it's certainly an interesting and it's very bold and brave. I am struggling to see a connection with the brand as it exists and has existed for so long. Vatika, to my mind, has not been this kind of brand, and therefore this this disconnect.
And it stands for glossy, long, lustrous.
Hair. And then that it's possible to take a sort of a brave step like this, but it's the tonality of the advertising. It's the spirit of the advertising and the kind of brand that this is. It isn't this kind of a brand. It's like you have some friends, you have the right to talk something deeply personal, and you can say something deeply personal. There are other friends with whom you cannot. And I think Vatika is that kind of a relationship where you don't expect it to come and start talking, giving you life advice on subjects like this.
So what would clearly there's a cautionary note in what you're saying, but as other brands attempt to get onto a social message wagon, so to speak, what is it that you would caution against?
act first and communicate later. Are you invested in this? Are you the kind of brand that has worked with cancer survivors? Are you the kind of brand that is going to make a long-term commitment
to that cause,
to any purpose that you have defined for yourself? If not, then don't start by advertising. Start by doing things for a few years and then advertise. That would be, in general, the principle that I would espouse.
All right, Santosh, always a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks very much for joining us on the Brands That Build India.
Going to school.
Welcome back. You're watching the Brands That Build India. We're featuring the 130-year-old Dabur brand. Dabur founder Dr. S.K. Burman often said, "What is that life worth which cannot bring comfort to others?" And this is the philosophy that's guided Dabur in its CSR policy as well. Let's take a look at what Dabur is doing on the CSR front. Long before the Companies Act mandated that companies set aside part of their profits towards CSR activities, Dabur was heavily involved in giving back to society. The Sandesh Foundation was set up with this purpose in the mid-90s. The idea was to focus on four main areas: education, health, eradication of poverty and sustainable development.
Company contributed money to the society, engaged a professional MBA who has done rural development at that time to manage this work full time. No other work of Dabur was given. With that background, they continued activities, and the new act came only in April 2014. And that is a philosophy which has been continuing since long.
Students, everybody had some answer. Guruji.
In the area of education, the focus is non-formal education that's trying to help school dropouts get back into the schooling system. They also focus on building benches and toilets in schools to reduce dropouts while providing learning tools like the Bolta Pustakalay or painted wall.
सन 2009 से वो हमारे विद्यालय से जुड़े हुए हैं। 2009 में उनके द्वारा हमारे विद्यालय में बोलता पुस्तकालय बनवाया गया, जिसमें उन्होंने हिंदी, गणित, अंग्रेजी से रिलेटेड कई जानकारियां दीवार पर पेंट करवाई, जिसे बच्चे बहुत आसानी से सीख पा रहे हैं।
Dabur also provides vocational training to women looking to become seamstresses or beauticians.
मैंने डाबर की संस्था संदेश की तरफ से सिलाई कटाई और ब्यूटिशियन का कोर्स किया है। मेरे घर की आर्थिक स्थिति ठीक नहीं थी, इसके बाद भी मैंने ये कोर्स किया, और जब मैं सिलाई कटाई का कोर्स कर रही थी तो मैंने ये भी सीखा कि इसका लाभ कैसे उठाया जाए और दुकान कैसे की जाती है, उसको चलाया कैसे जाता है। तो फिर मैंने इसके बाद अपना दुकान जो सिलाई कटाई का है और ब्यूटिशियन का है, उसमें कॉस्मेटिक का है, मैंने दुकान किया। इसके बाद मुझे अच्छी खासी इनकमिंग हो जाती है। अगर शादी का सीजन हो तो 10 से 15 हज़ार तक की इनकमिंग आ जाती है।
In the area of sustainability, Dabur has done a lot for the preservation of rare herbs in India. It has a 20-acre greenhouse plot where various plantation and preservation techniques are mastered and in turn taught to farmers.
हमारे पास इतना वर्मी कंपोस्ट होने लगा कि खेत में डालने के बावजूद भी बहुत बच जाता था, लेकिन हमें मार्केटिंग करना नहीं आता था। इसलिए डाबर के स्वयंसेवी संस्था जो आरपी सिंह जी हैं, उन्होंने मार्केटिंग करने का ट्रेनिंग कराया और डाबर की जीवंती सेंटर में हमारा माल बेचना हमने शुरू कर दिया।
With these efforts, Dabur is hoping to help farmers earn additional income while preserving some of its most essential natural ingredients. Dabur's well-run CSR efforts aim at sustainable development, replenishing resources where possible and giving back to the community socially and economically, all helping the Dabur brand image of healthcare and wellness. That's it then on this week's episode. We do hope you enjoyed watching it. Do tune in same time next week. For now, from all of us here on the Brands That Build India team, goodbye and many thanks for watching.
Ideate, innovate, enable.